Hey, I'm Allie Bradley with NewsNation, and we were boots on the ground in Los Angeles for several targeted enforcement operations. We were there alongside Chief Gregory Bovino, who's essentially running operations on the ground. So we had a follow-up conversation with the chief about how they're handling operations, about the racial allegations that are associated with it, and what they believe needs to be done. Take a look. So, Chief, obviously you're down there on the ground, boots on the ground in Los Angeles. It's been about a month now. Since the riots started, we've seen an increase in assaults against agents and officers. We've seen that nationwide. We've seen interior enforcement. We've seen Portland. We've seen issues in Chicago, in New York. We've seen issues in Los Angeles as well. So when you see this increase, DHS is saying 700% nearly, about 690 over this time last year. What does that statistic mean to you? What do you feel as a chief of a sector, but also of operations right now, when you hear a number like nearly 700% increase when it compared to this time last year?
Sure. Well, Allie, it's good to talk with you. Here in Los Angeles, as well as you said, nationwide, those assaults are actually happening. And the reason I know that is I've been out on the ground with those agents several times now, and I've witnessed those assaults and that dynamic that's taking place out on the ground. Our agents are all over Los Angeles. We have over 50 teams in and around Los Angeles area. And, just about every team tells me that most definitely they're seeing an increase in aggressive behavior from whether it's bystanders or those that they're arresting. That aggressive behavior is certainly there. So when you mention 600, 700%, I've even heard a statistic that was 800%. That would not surprise me because the amount of assaults that we're seeing here far outstrips the amount of assaults for all 19,000 Border Patrol agents nationwide. If that gives you any statistic, that's just here in Los Angeles. Far outstrips it. Actually, most of the assaults are from Los Angeles here in Operation at Large.
What kind of responsibility do you feel to keep your agents and officers safe if most of the infractions are happening in Los Angeles and you're running operations? What responsibility do you have, or what can you do to keep them safe?
Conducting legal, ethical, and moral operations are obviously at the top priority for the U.S. Border Patrol, Customs, and Border Protection, as well as all law enforcement agencies. And part of that legality and morality and ethics is keeping the public and the agents safe during operations. So it goes both ways. We want an operation that gets at the bad guys. We want to arrest bad people and bad things. That's why we're here, and we're going to do that. But if we can do that in a manner that is safe for all involved, that's what we're after here. We've always been after that. Unfortunately, though, there are those, whether they're extremists or extremist politicians even, that spout rhetoric that runs counter to legal, ethical, and moral operations. That's where we have some problems. And as a chief, you asked me what I think as far as being a chief. What I think is that rhetoric needs to be toned down, and toned down rather quickly, because if it's not, as the border czar Tom Homan said recently, bad things are going to happen. And that's not what we want. We want to go after that Title VIII mission. We want to arrest bad people and bad things, take those criminal aliens out of the community and anyone else that's an illegal alien. And we want to do that with as much civility as we possibly can. And that's what we're after here. But we've had the vice mayor of Cudahy call for street gangs to coalesce against law enforcement. When has that ever happened? I was actually shocked when I heard that, Allie. The vice mayor actually said that, and I scratched my head there for a second. And then, as a chief, I thought, uh-oh, what's that going to do? That's going to heat up that rhetoric, and it's going to cause somebody to do something stupid. So there's your 690% increase right there. We see that every day here in Los Angeles, and I have to think that this irresponsible rhetoric by extremists is responsible for that. Who would support a child rapist standing out in front of a big box store being arrested? I sure don't. What exactly is wrong with that? Us arresting a child rape. Let me say that again. A child rapist that was ready to go into someone's home to potentially do work for someone in their home. What else would they have done? We see that time and again. That's not an isolated incident. We see that time and again, Allie. So we're after those bad people and bad things to make the community a safer place. The last thing we need are assaults on our officers as they do that mission. And that's what they're after here.
And Chief, we've seen the advocates, the protesters, the rioters. We've experienced ourselves to a very minuscule degree compared to what you guys deal with on a daily basis. But the reason why they're out there, what they're arguing about, I even got a text from one of the masked individuals that was heckling us and harassing us, saying, but just a reminder, they're going after people because of skin color, essentially. What is your response to that? I know you're getting asked that. I know they're coming at you guys saying, you're just sacking up brown people. So what is your response to that, that this is racially charged, essentially?
It's another fallacy and another tired, worn out talking point. It's not based in fact, of course. We've arrested individuals from a multitude of nationalities, whether it's Chinese or folks from Central, South America, all over the place. So it's never based on skin color. It's based on whether or not that individual is an illegal alien or not. That's what we're after here, is to secure the homeland, to make Ma and Pa America a safer place. It's to prevent the Jacqueline Nungares or the Kate Steinleys or all the bad things that happen, or angel moms. The amount of drunk drivers from all nationalities that we apprehend, or I'm sorry, the amount of convicted drunk driver illegal aliens that we've apprehended from a multitude of nationalities is quite shocking. Do we want those drunk drivers killing families? So when I hear that, it's a tired talking point, and it's got no basis in reality. We target individuals for arrest, whether they're special interest aliens. And in doing so, we often encounter others that are illegal aliens, and they're going with us. They have the opportunity, as you know, Allie, to self-deport via the CBP Home app. That's been touted by everyone from the President of the United States to the Secretary of Homeland Security to Tom Homan to many others. $1,000 and a free plane ticket home. They've got many options, but when they don't exercise that option, then you put it in the court of immigration officers, and we're going to arrest.
Now, when it comes to the mayor, obviously she wants to sue you guys, she wants you out. Do you think that what she's saying is contributing to the assaults? What she's doing is contributing to the negativity that's being kind of hurled towards you guys? What is your kind of response to Mayor Bass? I know you guys talked briefly on the phone. From what I understand, you were less than a football field away, but she wanted to talk on the phone instead of being amongst you. What is your response to her, I guess, saying, hey, we're going to sue you guys, get out. We don't want the feds here. What's your response to her, and is her rhetoric contributing to the assaults that you guys are seeing, the increase?
Sure, Allie, and we hear this from a lot more than just Mayor Bass, but we have a mission here. There are a lot of bad people and a lot of bad things anywhere. We're going to go after that threat, whether it's somewhere near MacArthur Park or anywhere in Los Angeles. We're taking some really bad apples off the street. So quit with the negativity. Quit with the talking points that are not grounded in fact or reality. That's what I see the most as whether it's a sector chief or a leader in this organization, is quit with that, and let's start talking about constructive issues. How are we going to get to the bottom of the problem? A lot of these folks we could have taken out of jails. Our partners at ICE and ERO, they could do a fantastic job if they were allowed access to those jails to take those child rapists and those convicted drunk drivers aggravated felons, and many others out of the jail before they can ever hurt someone in the community. But yet, these folks are released back onto the street to hurt members of the community. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the real problems and not be emotional. When we go after bad people and bad things, that's not an emotional response. That's a response that is dictated by law, by professionalism, and those legalities, ethics, and morals that I keep bringing up. And we're going to do that every single day in every single place in Los Angeles as well as nationwide. So that's what I would like to talk about, is having constructive conversation on the root of the issue. How could anyone say that going after special interest aliens who are in our country living amongst us is a bad thing? Let's talk about that. Hey, let's have a conversation about that. But if we don't have a conversation about that and we rely on emotion and non-factual opinions on what we're doing here, then we're going to have conflict. And that's not what anyone wants. We're simply here to enforce the law and to do it, again, professionally, legally, ethically, and morally.
We're going to get into the trends here in just a second. My last question about Karen Bass is if she's willing to have constructive conversations, because we know right now she's not, right? She said she's not willing to make any deals. The only deal she's going to make is to get you out of the city. You obviously canceled a meeting with the mayor that you guys were supposed to have. Would you meet with her if she comes to you and says, listen, I'm gonna put down my sword. Let's talk, let's be constructive, or are you done? I mean, where are you at with, I guess, working together on the ground level?
Sure. Great question, Allie. I'm never done having constructive conversation with anyone. That's why I'm here with you. You're one of the world's best at having a constructive conversation. And I'd like to do that with whether it's a police chief or elected officials. I've done that for many years, especially as the chief. Now, I believe there's some legalities involved, a lawsuit now. So I'll obviously have to be very, very careful in conducting a meeting. I'd like to just have a meeting, but now that city has a lawsuit here, my comments would be rather lacking there right now.
Understandable. Thanks, Chief. Okay, so when it comes to the border crossings, obviously we saw July, or at the beginning of July, June numbers came out, lowest they've ever been, in our lifetime, easily. It might be a little higher than in the 60s, but when you look at statistically where we're at, populace wise, where we're at, like they're extremely low, and something for sure for the administration to celebrate. But you're kind of having a little celebration internally, a little bit, from what I understand, because your guys' enforcement operations seemingly coincide with a pretty sharp decline in border crossings. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think it's because of your enforcement operations on the interior that maybe people don't want to cross? What's your take on that, those numbers coinciding with your enforcement operations starting?
Sure. Allie, we've been here about a month now. And as we've been here in Los Angeles, taking it to the bad people and the bad things, there has been a rather precipitous decrease in border crossings nationwide, as well as gotaways. Remember those gotaways that Chief Banks and many of the others, Commissioner Scott, talk about? That's important also. So anytime there's a decrease there, that's something that we're after. What I would really dial in there is it's those men and women, the rank and file of the U.S. Border Patrol, the rank and file here in Los Angeles as well, that are making the difference there. We're taking it to them in every sector, in every facet that we possibly can. Here in Los Angeles, it's what we would call an interior enforcement operation. We've long known that interior operations, especially by uniformed law enforcement, uniformed immigration officers, has always had an effect. That's throughout history. You mentioned the 60s. It's happened before in history. So we know that has a dramatic effect, because it's not only at the border, but it's anywhere you go. There's no safe refuge if you're an illegal alien. And that word gets out when when our fine men and women of CBP, and again, CBP Office of Field Operations, the U.S. Border Patrol and Air and Marine, as well as our allied law enforcement agencies, ICE, HSI, ERO, and the other agencies helping us, coming together here in Los Angeles is unprecedented. Working together to target special interest aliens and then any other individuals that we come into contact with, that provides a pretty strong statement internationally. And if you remember, over the past 4 years, there was an international problem with unmitigated immigration across our borders, something the administration put a stop to rather quickly. So that's when the first significant drop stopped, was in very short order. So a lot of kudos there as well. President Trump came down really hard. Secretary Noem. So that started it, and this is just more support from them in completing that mission. So it's the entire Border Patrol coming together, all allied law enforcement agencies coming together, and here in Los Angeles, definitely taking it to them. And yes, it does have an effect.
Awesome. Thank you. Congratulations on your work. If that is the coincidence, like I said, I don't believe in coincidence. There's always a cause and an effect, right? I got to go back to the assault side of things for a second here, if I can. Two different incidents. It's not Texas. It's Texas. It's not your jurisdiction, but I know you are aware of what's going on out here. One in McAllen and then one at another facility where in one case they opened fire on agents and officers. A couple of injuries there, and the other, an agent was shot, I believe is the case, and they were opening fire and throwing fireworks and all of these different things. Two different incidents within just a few days in Texas. What does that bring up for you? What do you think is, how do you, obviously the environment and what's going on in our nation is causing these individuals, like you said, to kind of act out. What can be done? Where do you, from where you sit, what do you do about this? Two in just as many days, pretty big incidents involving Border Patrol.
Sure. Allie, the Border Patrol's done a fantastic job, as well as CBP Customs and Border Protection, in putting that word out to all employees, especially the law enforcement officers, that there is a very real threat. It's not a perceived threat or a potential threat. The threat's real, and it's here. We're seeing it here in Los Angeles with some extremists doing some very strange things here as well. We're seeing it nationwide. So Border Patrol is putting out excellent guidance on keeping our employees safe. And then there's another facet here. I would point to our U.S. Attorney's offices, whether it's Southern District, Mr. Gordon, or here in Central District in Los Angeles, Mr. Bill Assaley. They are aggressively prosecuting anyone who assaults, impedes, or tries to hurt a law enforcement officer. As a matter of fact, I just talked to Bill this morning, to Bill Assaley this morning, and anytime someone tries to hurt or even threaten law enforcement officers, there's a lot of threats online. They're actually looking into that and going after those people quite vigorously. So I think the word gets out that if you're going to engage in that type of behavior, that type of reprehensible behavior or type of activity, then quite possibly you're going to be looking at time behind bars. That word's going to get out very quickly. And then, what we had in Texas and some of the other places is, quite unfortunate, but definitely not a smart idea to take on a police station or a Border Patrol station or something like that. That just shows that perhaps those folks are not the sharpest tools in the shed. Don't do that. There's no good outcome for anyone there, especially the perpetrators. So don't think about doing that kind of thing. It won't work out well for you.
Now, besides just keeping your head on a swivel and wearing your body armor, what kind of guidance are agents getting? I've seen so many SIRs, so many intel reports, so many things saying this might happen, carry your M4 and have your body armor on. What other guidance do these guys have outside of be cognizant of your environment?
Sure. And some of that guidance, Allie, I don't want to put out online because those personal protective measures are pretty important for the individual agents, officers, and police officers. but rest assured that every single Border Patrol agent, customs officer, and police officers as well are acutely aware of what's going on, and they are taking appropriate countermeasures. So if there was a perpetrator or a bad person or a bad thing, you may well be being looked at right now. Chances are you are. So if someone's going to engage in that type of activity, we would highly recommend they don't do that. We're ready. We're going to conduct that mission, that law enforcement mission, 24/7, and we won't be deterred from that mission. And that's any police officer, Border Patrol agent, nationwide. We are going to protect the homeland. We're going to protect Mom and Pa America. No threat's going to keep us from doing that.
Now, I know here in the Del Rio sector, I know some of the stations have additional resources, whether that's armed security or whatever that might be. Is that Border Patrol wide right now? And you don't have to disclose national security secrets, but that's what I do understand is they do at least have additional resources outside of these facilities to keep the men and women inside and that are coming and going safe. I don't think that's giving anything away, but I do know that that's happening at least one station here in Del Rio sector.
Yes, ma'am. And it's more a system of the entire law enforcement community, again, coming together to ensure that that whether it's a Border Patrol station or any other sensitive location is secure, and that the employees in those locations can come and go to work and do their job. So it's not just a Border Patrol station or a port of entry or something like that. It's the entire law enforcement community that's interconnected and ready to, whether it's provide the resources you're talking about or respond to threats, but most of all, prevent those threats. So it multi-layered, multi-levels throughout and throughout. It's definitely a pulling together of the law enforcement community to make sure that we're all safe.
Good. Now, last thing, sir, what do you want to say? Are you leaving? Are you going to pack up and hightail it out? You got lawsuits going. You got class action things. You got the mayor saying, get out of here, shaking her fist. I mean, you going to leave? You going to pack it up?
Well, just this morning, I even got some death threats of my own. So it's you know what? It's we're going to turn and burn, Allie. That's what we do here in Customs and Border Protection is we turn and burn. That means we go from one set of bad people and bad things right on to the next and the next and the next and the next. We're not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. What does that word mean? We might need to get Webster's out because the Border Patrol agents and the CBP officers here in Los Angeles, we don't know what that means. So if that gives you any idea where the mindset is, where my mindset is we're going to go even harder now. And we're going to go in where we need to go into and do what we need to do, legally, ethically, and morally, of course, to ensure this mission is completed. And, I can't stress that enough, wherever that is, whether it's Los Angeles or anywhere else, stay tuned because we're on the ground and we're ready to go, turn and burn.
Wouldn't be surprised if you are hightailing over to Portland here soon with all that Antifa shenanigan going on. But thank you for your time, Chief. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything that you want to share? I know we had to kind of stay in the confines of our conversation today. So is there anything I didn't touch on that you can share about?
We covered a large segment of issues. I just say that the men and women here of CBP and law enforcement in general are going above and beyond. I'm in awe of them. So great job to them. They're the ones doing it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.